but at 12 years old, he became French. Okay. So he was actually Quebec French. Okay. Like he could speak Quebec French back and forth long before anybody else even thought it was a thing to do.
We're live.
All right.
Live. Let's roll.
I'm going to say hey to everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Season 2, Episode 5 of the Freddy Beach Podcast. And today our guest is a man who needs no introduction if you do live in Fredericton. If you don't and you're just trying to learn about our great city, even better. We have Big Jim Gilbert, Canada's huggable car dealer, the man behind Wheels and Deals. And what Jim does not know, Phil, is that we have a little surprise for him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm going to bring Vanna White out here. And we got Jim a little bit of a gift for showing up on the podcast today. Nice. So, Jim, I'll bring your attention.
Wow.
Yeah, Em, you got to come in the shot here.
Oh, wow, okay. My first time on the podcast, so exciting.
So, Jim, I need you to stand up here. I need you to put your arms back, just like this.
Oh, that's nice.
Boom.
Wow. Well, this isn't... Be dangerous. Wow. Wheels and Deals. Be huggable, be dangerous.
You better believe it.
Huggable, dangerous.
It's like straight out like a New York fashion party.
Like,
oh, yeah. Wait, let's do this thing here, too. You know? A little bit of a pocket square going. I don't know if I earned myself a hug with that one or what.
You gotta... Well, thank you, Jeff. Wow. I'm coming back.
All right, so folks, what I got for Jim here is I got him a smoking jacket. And Jim is one of a very, very small, select group of people in Fredericton to have a smoking jacket.
Wow.
Stands out.
Yeah, pretty soon if you don't have a smoking jacket, it's going to be like, you know.
Well, I'm somebody now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. Before this, not as much, but now, boom. So actually with Jim, though, I got these all his brand's colors, right? And if you don't already know that, because you're not from here, red, silver, and black are the Wheels and Deals colors, right? So on the inside, we got Jim Gilbert, Be Dangerous, Wheels and Deals, Be Huggable, a kind of a cool silver, like, paisley lining, you know. Got a little card, of course.
That's for you, Andre.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
Really cool.
That's a brand new postcard there. So the reason I got Jim that smoking jacket as a gift is because
that's nice.
I'll tell a story. I'm going to tell. Yeah,
Can I sit down?
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
I'll tell folks a little bit of a heartwarming story. So once upon a time, there was a dangerous clothier and a dangerous clothier-is, and they were selling dangerous dress shirts out of their condo. And one day, a close friend of that couple, named Phil Curley,
That wasn't me.
actually helped out and rented us a small space in his office so that we would have our very first store. And it was very cool. Now, Phil's lease ended a couple months after we started, right? Which was perfect because it was we called it a pop-up store, right? It was like a...
It's Christmas time.
Yeah, it was November, December. We thought we'd try it out. You know, everything's a risk when you first start, and you don't know if you're going to be able to afford the rent or sell enough shirts to pay the rent, all that silliness. And it turned out to be a really good move, right? Things really took off after we did that. So we were really grateful to Phil. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right? He's wondering where his smoking jacket is.
Yeah,
But
I'm wondering too.
But I gave a great shirt last Christmas for it. We worked with a smoking jacket. You know, is a thing, okay? Now I'm like, oh, God. Anyways. But the thing is, then, you know, Phil's lease ended in that, and so we actually lost the store. And then that was a bit of a
I'd also
thing.
like to point out that you guys threw me under the bus on that. Like, the store was taken out, or that's what the article looked like. I had people calling me like, "Did you kick Jeff out?" It's like, we moved.
You know what?
So you're still saying you're a nice guy,
Yeah,
but you're not huggable.
I would let you guys keep going.
yeah. Did we have to sacrifice Phil for the betterment of marketing?
That's what happened.
Yes, we did.
We do.
And there's a certain acceptable casualty rate in all things, and that was well within the acceptable casualty rate. So, anyway, so what a lot of people don't know is, though, when I had that store, I would stand outside of the store all November and December, and people thought I was completely crazy because I'm out on King Street, right across from the buses there. And you don't get a lot of guys in the dangerous dress shirt market actually in that area. But I would stand outside and I'd try to rope people in off the streets, which people thought was like like a revolutionary like marketing tactic, right? It was really the act of a desperate man. But I would always watch the buses come in, right? And there's the one bus that always pulled in right in front of me was a Canada's Huggable car dealer bus, right? So it had Jim's brain all the time. And I'd always look at the bus, and it was like when you can't do anything, so you just like you're like, I'm like, that guy's gonna come and get a Dangerous Jacket one day, And I just stare at the bus. I'd be like, for sure, I'm gonna meet Jim Gilbert, because the picture right on. I'm gonna meet that guy, and he's gonna come in. And I swear to God, I was like, third week in November, I get a call. It's an American number. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, hey, is this Jeff Alba? I'm like, yeah, it's Jeff Alba. He's like, is Jim Gilbert here? I'm like, and I'm staring at the bus. I'm outside, hands like shivering, right? I'm like, I knew it. Like, booyah, right? I'm like, what's happening, Jim? He's like, well, man, I've been hearing about you. I got to come in and get some shirts. My friend Bob Hathaway told you about me. I was like, perfect. So he comes in a couple weeks later, gets 5 shirts. Then he comes in a few days later, gets 5 shirts for all of his top sales guys. And it's a bit of a huggable handout. All of a sudden, we're like, man, this is the best week we ever had in our life. Yeah, thanks to Jim. And then, we lost the store. We dramatized it a little bit. But, and thanks for that hit because, of course, Big Jim heard about it, and he gave me a call on Christmas Eve.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, on Christmas Eve. And it was like, hey, I heard you're losing the store. And I know you got the surgery, and there's probably a lot of stuff going on.
Phil threw you under the bus.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I've been talking to everyone in town. Everyone's saying, how horrible Phil is. No, yeah, do a guy a favor, eh? And this is how he repays you. So,
Phil's a nice guy.
Yeah. So,
friends like this, eh?
So, anyways, Jim let us use a space at his dealership for 4 months, rent free. Run the business until that way, instead of us trying to kind of find the very first place on the market that worked, we were able to take a strategic approach to finding what would ultimately become our permanent location, right, as opposed to kind of just like running in hot because we need to find somewhere new, right? So I very much appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Thank
Jim.
you. And hey, thanks for throwing them out. Look at the nice coat I got. Smoking jacket. Anybody else want to throw somebody out? What do you think?
All right. So let's get into this.
All right. So we're going to talk about today.
I'm going to wear this when I do all my speaking engagements.
Heck yeah.
Going to Mexico next week to speak.
So last night we had the big Chamber Awards, right? We're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about you coming to the Dangerous Dragons Den viewing party, for sure.
We're going.
And then what a lot of people don't know is that, because why would they? Because it's not actually that interesting. But I'm taking some schooling at Queen's University, and one of my projects is I have to interview some entrepreneurs. Luckily, we've already got 20 on a website log for this podcast, so I'm actually doing really well on this session. But I've written out some formal questions that satisfy some of the criteria, and if when we're going to of course get into the huggable story and how it all happened, and then we'll come back to these and answer some of these. So I get an A.
Why don't you just submit it all
plus. What I think I'm going to do is I'll do my written report and then be like Annex A. This website is 20 videos of different entrepreneurs that we've interviewed across all different industries, from information technology, biology, sciences to
give me an A.
Yeah, shirts and cars, right? Yeah, exactly. A plus, man. That's where we're going all the way.
That's right. Go for the best.
All right. So, would you prefer to start with a life story or the Chamber of Commerce?
I wasn't at the Chamber event last night.
Yeah, so let's hear about it. It's Kearns.
Yeah, I just have no idea, but I have seen a lot of tweets, and even Junior Achievement was like circling the Huggable Award. I wasn't sure. Anyway, would you mind telling me what happened?
It was a great event.
It was an awesome night. It was an absolutely awesome night.
The city of Fredericton honored a lot of good people, but there's a lot of great speakers up there. It was the people that won were like super nominees. The winners were like in every category. The winner was all 3 people. It's just I had to pick one.
Okay.
So there's a lot of happy people.
And you guys gave out an award?
There's Wheels and Deals. It's called the Jim Gilbert Wheels and Deals Not-for-Profit Award.
Yeah, he gives out every year, actually.
And yes, we won in 2005. I won the Small Business Excellence Award for the Chamber of Commerce, which for car dealers quite a feat. And in 2010, I was the first business person of the year for the Chamber of Commerce.
That's
I
huge.
got the very first award. So, we've known about the Commerce or the Chamber for a long time. And I think it was around 2000. After I got 2 awards, I didn't want them anymore. I didn't want any more.
Yeah, that's enough to be
that's enough.
humble, but
So
good.
So I said I should give one out. Got one there. I get to speak every time, so I know I speak. I know when I speak. So it was fun. So I think since 2011 we've been doing Jim Gilbert's Not-for-Profit Award, and well, I can say it here, the way Justin Trudeau wants to tax us, I think all businesses are going to be non-for-profit. So next year.
That's awesome.
Next year, instead of just 6 or 12 businesses in Fredericton qualify, we're going to have 112.
Totally. You're going to be up all night speaking. Like,
Yeah.
and this guy got an award, and this guy got an award.
But he's got pretty hair. He's a nice guy. We love you, Justin.
And his speech was good last night too, eh? So he came up, he had this jacket, it was really cool. It wasn't this one he's wearing now because he just got this one, right? But like it had kind of like red.
Oh, was it one of yours?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
No. But it was like instead of like a red elbow patch, right? It was like red all the way down.
Oh, cool.
It was sweet. Right? You get like I was sitting far from the stage, and I could see. I was like, man, that's a sweet jacket. You know what I mean? And he got it from Robert Simmons, from Paul downstairs, and so he was kind of shouting him out, but kind of teasing him a bit, like kind of got the people going, right? Everyone knows Jim, everyone knows Paul, so it's sort of like that whole thing, and then
It worked out good.
Yeah,
We got a shout out to Paul.
stole a show of it.
And
It's
I
good.
had a nice jacket.
Oh yeah.
I had my wife's away. She's in Toronto, so I had nobody to dress me. So I had to go to the closet and think, okay, what did Paul sell me? And then what did he tell me goes with it? And then I didn't remember. So I have no idea if I matched or not, but I had Robert.
No, you pulled it off.
Everything
It
was Robert
good.
Simmons.
It was it was perfect. It was excellent.
I find it so impressive. Every time I go into Robert Simmons, they're like, how is, and they know everything they've ever sold me, even if they didn't sell it to me.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by that.
Oh, they do a great job down there. He's got a
Yeah.
class act. He's a class person.
Totally. So
But let's talk about
then,
me.
and then who did you give that
See you,
award
Paul.
to?
The award was won by the
homeless guys.
The Fredericton Homeless Shelter.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. And they actually, that guy did a really nice speech afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And Connie Woodside also does the Junior Achievers and she does a wonderful job there.
Yeah.
And then the Canadian Mental Health Association was in the running too.
Yeah.
But the homeless shelter they do a lot.
Yeah.
They all do a lot, but it's nice to pass it around and make sure other people are getting it. And
Yeah.
all 3 deserved it. I wouldn't want to have to pick who it was.
No, yeah. You have the good job. You get to say a few words no
I
matter
just
what.
get
But
to show off.
Yeah.
this selection committee's gotta
I wouldn't.
be those guys.
It's all about the show.
Yeah, no, it was good though, and he got Chelsea out there because his daughter's officially taking the reins. Am I right?
That's right.
Like she,
How is that like transfer?
Fantastic. Chelsea's taken over, and what's really unique is me and Chelsea right now are taking a course with a guy called Darren Hardy out of San Diego, and it's called Ludicrous. It's like for high achievers, a very high achiever course, and really yesterday morning, Darren Hardy said that the successful companies of the future are going to be led by women, because women have a little more empathy than men, but they also have that drive too that men seem to be losing. And here I am going up on stage listening to Darren Hardy earlier with his Ludicrous course. Actually, me and Chelsea are going down to San Diego in December to be with him for 3 days. And I'm thinking, here I'm bringing the next generation of Wheels and Deals on stage, who's going to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where they think the next successful companies be. So my retirement's looked after.
yeah,
And my son, if he's listening, does a great job too. But he's a car bar. He can get hands dirty, and
Yeah.
Chelsea's going to run the show
Cool.
and doing a great job at it.
Awesome. And big shoes to fill?
Oh, she's in a business group called Tech. It's a worldwide group where she has 15 peers like in New Brunswick in her group. I'm in a similar group with 15 other top business leaders. So she's been in that for 5 years now. Yeah. So she's getting baptism by fire, like the head of the NB Liquors in it, and there's a lot of high achievers in hers. So it's she's learning a lot. Like every time we go to a tech meeting, it's once a week for a whole day, or once a month for a whole day, and it's like a year's university course in one day. Yeah. So she's going to come good. Yeah. I got faith in her. Cool. And all the women of the world.
So, can I ask this question? Because I do want to ask this. Like, the only backstory I know about you, Jim, is from the back of a bus. Okay? And the back of the bus...
Which isn't bad.
The back of the bus.
The back of the bus literally says, Jim went from one car and a dream to number one. So I need to know, like, what is that one car? You still remember it.
And that's the truest story there ever was, right there.
So how did this happen? Like, how long were you
and give the longer version, eh? Like the folks who watch this, they want to know.
Are you sure you want to?
Yeah, they want to know. And I know I do.
It's Friday, they're going to work till 5?
Oh, yeah, this is good. Yeah. So I was. Do you want me to start it right from the start?
Yes, that is exactly.
Because this is a good story.
Yeah.
It's going to take a few minutes, but I graduated out of high school and I was on the 4-year plan, so I must have been 19 year. My birthday's in May, so I would have been 19. So I worked that summer. You're looking for summer employment, and I had no idea in the world what I'm going to do. Like, I was one of them people, but I didn't mind working. I worked all through high school, 30, 40 hours a week. That's probably why I was on the 4-year plan. And in the summer, I had a chance to shovel dirt for one of the most successful people in the city of Fredericton, Gerald Sullen. He owned Sullen Honda, Sullen Toyota, Honda motorcycles, Skidoos, Evinrude Motors, Johnson Motors, power boats. He had it all. Like, he was the guy at the time. He's one of the guys, right? Yeah. So he's building his dream home. So a friend of mine's working as a laborer, and they need another laborer to shovel dirt. So I get a chance to shovel dirt for this successful man. Yeah. Well, working never scared me, right? Because I worked all through high school. And I can remember the first Friday I'm working, because I started midway into the summer. My friend was already working. And the first Friday I worked, Gerald comes down and he said, who would work with me this weekend? I want to do some stuff around the house. Because Gerald was his own general contractor, right? Yeah. So, because he's, and when you're a big owner like that, you want to run everything. And I can remember my friend Billy, and he doesn't, I don't work weekends. And the other laborer was one of the foreman's sons. He don't work weekends either. So I was the third guy. I kept quiet, like I'm the third guy in the totem pole here. So I said, I work weekends. So I worked with the owner, Gerald Sullen. I got to work with one of the most successful people. And we were just cleaning windows or moving lumber, whatever it was. And actually, the next Friday, the same thing happens. Gerald walks down. Who's going to work with me this weekend? Well, the Billy Bobs, they don't work weekends, right? Yeah. Jimmy works weekends. So I worked with them. Well, the third Friday, it's a carbon copy. Yeah. But on the third Friday, there's no who's working weekends. It's Jimmy, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Yeah. So I end up working nights, weekends, whatever the guy wanted. I'm getting paid. I'm 19 years old. What do I care? Yeah. At the end of summer, which is just a few weeks later, our jobs are done because it was done. That was the deal. It was only a summer job. August 31st, it's over. We're going to get our pink slips. So Gerald gives Billy his pink slip. He gives Bob his pink slips. Billy Bob's got the pink slips. I'm waiting for mine because in that the 4% vacation pay shows up too, right? Yeah. We're going partying that night. We got an extra $50. Back then we're talking.
Yeah, you got drinking to do. I get it.
This time like three, you get 3 drafts for $1 here. So yeah. 35-cent draft, an extra $20. That's a lot of money, right?
100%.
But there's no pink slip for me. Gerald said, you're going to start selling cars for me, Honda cars, Monday morning at 8:30. Wow. Show up at my Honda lot. So I said, sure. Well, why not? So I show up there. And the thing everybody got to know is Gerald didn't give me a job. He gave me an opportunity. Yeah. It was made really clear. You sell, you produce, or you're going home. There's no buddy system here. Right. And I was fortunate. Like, I worked hard, I sold, and I worked weekends, I worked nights, and I did really, really, really good. I became the second best salesman in the place. Actually, Phil's Auto Sales Dinner, Phil's Recreation, Philip was number one. I was always number two. I beat him 1 month, but I'll give you some credit. But Philip,
He's on vacation most of the time.
That's what Philip would say. But Philip was really, really good, so it was quite a thing to be second him and beat him 1 month. And then a couple of years later, I met my wife-to-be, and see, I only sold new cars then, so I didn't know nothing about the used car business. And I asked Donna to marry me. We're going to get married, and it was really after that I found out her father was the biggest wholesaler in the city of Fredericton, or in the province of New Brunswick. So a wholesaler is a guy that buys a car one place, drives to another car lot, and makes $200 or $300 in between.
All right.
Well, he does this 200 and 300 times a month.
Wow.
Yeah, so in '79 you're rolling through $300 300 times a month. He's doing really well.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that till after I was going to marry his daughter. But once we was going to get married, Lauren came. Donna's father said his son was looking to do something different because he had a son 2 years younger. Roddy, and he said, why don't you guys start your own used car lot? I'll sell you some cars, and I got a building over there. You can rent the building. So me and Roddy started off with 2 gas pumps, Fina. You guys wouldn't even know what Fina is. It's Petro-Canada now.
Okay.
And we had 1 car and a $10,000 loan because Lauren wouldn't give us money. He would only sign the loan for 1 year. And we had to buy the cars from him. So we actually started off with 1 car, 2 gas pumps, and we really learned. You know, we're working 13 days. You start at 6 in the morning, you work to 9 at night, and you got every second Sunday off. And this went on year after year, and that's where he started 1 car and a dream. Cause, you know, like every entrepreneur, you're dreaming to become something, and but the problem is you're following the herd because you only know what the herd does. Yeah. And we went into the car business. We're following the herd, doing what everybody else is doing. And I find that, I'm going to say, for the first 20 years of this business, we complained about everything because, see, it's not my fault, right? It's not my fault. It's the government's fault. It's the weather's fault. It's an alien's fault. It's the river's flowing the wrong way's fault. Like, and everybody thinks that, but we all have this dream that in 20 years we're going to get a letter in the mail that says we're successful now because that's what they tell us at Success School. Yeah. And you put in your 20 years. And you get a letter.
There's like a mentality that we have.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm exaggerating here, but it's a lie. So I put in my 20 years, and at the end of 20 years, I actually owned 20 cars. Well, 20 years and only go to 1 to 20. Think of it. That's not that exciting.
It's a car,
But I had what everybody else had, what every other car dealer had, like a little corner lot with 20 cars, and I didn't know any different. But one day I knew, like, I really, really loved what I do. I loved selling cars, I loved buying cars, actually cleaning the cars. I loved meeting the people. I loved the battling with the government, battling with the bank. No, but you love it. Like, it's part of the thrill of the kill, right? Yeah. You know, sometimes the tax man won, sometimes I won. But it was the game. The game was so fun to play. Yeah, it is fun. Right? It's a fun game. It's a game. But I wanted more, and where does the more came from? That's where one day, that's when, you know, where the 150 cars come from the dream, come in and say, hey, listen, I got to get out of my own way here. So after 20 years is when, instead of being a guy that was complaining and blaming the world like everybody else does and do, and still do today, I said, screw all that stuff, and I went and did self-development and listened to good books and tapes and good speakers and invested in myself. I did the way you're supposed to invest in yourself. I had no money, but I took what money I had. I bought every cassette. I went to anybody that was going to talk. I went and listened to them, and it was like a switch. My life was good, but my business life just switched overnight. So all of a sudden I went from 20 cars. So in the first 20 years, the 20-year success never really showed up. But in the next 10 years, the 20-year success showed up in mega sales. Really? So really, you know, we went from a 1-car lot to a 20-car lot to like 150 car lot. Like, we've been in business 38 years, so figure it. It only took us it really only took us 15 years of taking responsibility for ourselves to be a 150 car lot.
So when you say take responsibility yourself and like self-development, what does that mean? Like,
well,
can you dive a little deeper on that?
Yeah, like everybody blames everybody else. Like if I fall down the stairs here, well, it must be somebody else's fault. Somebody left the broom in the way. Maybe they did, but I should have looked. No, there's a broom in the way. So I decided it's not nobody else's fault. Nobody's not. It's going to be. What's a Spartan say? If it's going to be, it's up to me. Mm-hmm. And when I took that Spartan attitude that it's going to be, it's up to me, my whole life changed in every part of it, because if that car didn't get sold today, it was my fault. If that car had a bad motor, it was my fault. If the bank called me up looking for money, guess what? It's not their fault. That's their job. It was my job to make sure I had the money there. If the tax man shows up and says, Jim, you kind of should have paid a little more taxes here. Well, they're stealing from us. But they're stealing from us. But guess what? That's the law rules, and you follow them. Yeah. Whether you like them or not. So when you take full responsibility for your own personal being, and every part of it, and you become more positive, and you just change your whole outlook on the world, that it's a nice, beautiful world out there, and I'm going to make it more beautiful. Your whole world will just change. And mine did. Mine just changed upside down. That, like you having me here today, like if I hadn't taken that different approach, that, my mother-in-law the other day said, geez, Jim's such a positive guy. Well, probably when I married her daughter, what's that asshole doing with my daughter? No, but it's different, eh? And you can change yourself. Like a leopard can change their spots, but it's up to the leopard. And that's where the 1 to 150 is a true story. We start one car, and now I own 150.
Yeah. Now you have cars when I drive by, it's
yeah.
It's a little.
Oh, totally.
And as I took responsibility for myself, I also got out of my own way, that I seen what other people did in other communities and other businesses. Because when you're into learning. Mm-hmm. So for the first 40 years of my life, I did no learning. Like the only reason I graduated in the 4-year plan, they just didn't want me there no more. Right. Really. Yeah. But in the next 20 years, I did nothing other than complain and whine and point fingers, probably. Mm-hmm. But once I said, hey, it's up to me. Even today, yesterday morning, me and Chelsea spent 2 hours listening to Darren Hardy on it's called Ludicrous Course. So we went from insane course to a ludicrous course. Like even today, I'm up learning. Yeah. I get up early in the morning. I listen to a podcast. I go on YouTube, and anything you don't know, you just look up YouTube, because somebody got a 15-minute video on how to do it. Yeah. So there's stuff that I can do. Like I'm showing 25-year-olds how to work computer stuff today. And I'm not that smart, but I just learned. But that's the secret, is to never, ever, ever stop learning. Like the day I stop learning, the day I hope that you're throwing sand on top of me in the big hole.
So let me ask you something. So that's pretty cool, because I've heard this story before, but something the way in this environment is a little less people and stuff like that, it kind of
we're tuned in.
Kind of came out even a little bit better, So obviously there's a massive mind shift, but after the mind shift, some tactical things must have changed, and you sort of alluded to it the way you're like, when you first started, you're just copying what you see the guy down the road doing. Yeah. You're copying him. But then you must have started physically doing some things that manifested some physical changes, right? Can you talk about how you were doing it the first 20 years to how you changed it in the next 20 years? I know we're on year 18 of the second 20, but
to be the
you understand
leader,
you understand what I'm getting at, right?
Because once you take responsibility for yourself, it's like it just some happened here an hour ago. Okay, I'm selling a house I own in Arizona, and the guy starts talking to me about, do you want to know what the houses cost around you or sell for? I said no. I'm only interested in one house, and that's the mindset you got to I don't. It's none of my business what other people are selling the houses for. It's only my business what I'm selling my house for. So, in our business back at Wheels and Deals, when you move ahead, you actually become the leader when you don't care, like I don't care what any of my competition, I don't even consider them competition. There are other people who do the same business I do.
Yeah, 100.
And
yeah.
once you get that, once you can cross that chasm, is it called chasm?
There is no competition.
Is that there is no competition?
Chasm is a great way to put it.
You then become, you become like when you say number one, you really do become a business of one, a category one, because once you forget and don't care what your competition, others are doing, and you're just going to do what you do, and you get better at what you do, and you learn what you do, you actually change the whole world around you, and you become a category of one. And once you become a category of one, they're all wondering what you're doing, and you don't even care what they're doing. And that's where the next biggest jump in a business becomes, when you can get, it's like a guy one day said, if you want to be somebody, you drive a Ferrari. Once you are somebody, you buy a Lamborghini. Well, I would say Wheels and Deals has went to the Lamborghini, to category one.
Yeah.
We don't care about the people around us. We only care about us and what we do. And you become leaders in your class. So at the time you become leaders in your class, you got no one, you can't even find anybody to follow because you're so far out ahead. And a gentleman was talking about, somebody come to me the other day actually about marketing and branding. And they said, I got a university degree here about marketing and branding. I said, that's really good. But all they taught you is stuff that I invented 5 years ago. Because if Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb, we couldn't have a course on it.
Yeah.
So, I feel that Wheels and Deals has stepped so far into the future that we're inventing as we go. They'll be teaching stuff on what we do today, but so the guy that got this nice degree, that's certainly a lot smarter than me, is only going to know what I broke the ground and invented today, and it's going to take 5 years to get to that university.
I hear what you're saying. That course curriculum can only be developed after it's been invented.
They can only develop.
Right,
I got invented.
So, just a couple quick thoughts on that. First one is I really appreciate the approach of it's about yourself, right? Like the competition is not external; it's internal. Every problem in the world is a problem you have internally, and if you can overcome yourself, you can make an impact. But I think that we are kind of skimming over the fact of how competitive car sales is. Like you're not talking about competing against other people in anybody, technically anybody can sell a car, but you're being the most successful in Fredericton by, basically saying, I'm going to do it my way, which I think rings true to a lot of people. And I think that, if we're just talking about this, people should realize that, so we're not just saying, hey, be true to yourself and that's how you'll be successful. We're saying the most successful person in the most competitive industry in Fredericton is saying that. And I think that that's important to
Well, you got to figure
I have a direct on that, but
in Fredericton we have our market area is 70,000 people. Okay. In Halifax, the market share, or market people, whatever they call it, market area, is 350,000. We probably are the number one selling independent used car dealer in Atlantic Canada, over the guy that I know very well in Halifax. Cars Russ, great guy. I'm going to shout out Cars Russ in Halifax. Go buy a car there. But we probably outsell them, and he's got 4 times the population base. Yeah. So we just blew it open because it's not about the car. The car's 4 tires and a piece of tin, right? It's a commodity. The piece of paper is a commodity. Everything has become a commodity. People want human-to-human contact. They want to be treated like people again. So it became about the experience. They don't pay us more money, certainly, but they'll pay us the same amount of money and come and gross our place for the experience of what it feels like to be treated like a human again. And people love that, and that's when the day in 2006 when Gary Maxwell and I said it's not about the piece of tin, it's not about the 4 tires, it's about the experience. That's we took a quantum leap right then. And it's been all about the caring and sharing, the community involvement, and being being there, and I call it belly to belly. I believe that any with they're Amazon right now, like Amazon's going to, like Sears went out of business, and I'm not blaming Amazon, but that's Amazon's coming strong, and if you're not supplying a belly to belly business like with human to human contact, you don't exist any longer. But people want the contact, and they will buy from you, and they want to buy from you. Like right downstairs here, Paul Simmons. You go in there, you're treated like a person. You're brought in. They know what you bought before. They can talk about the black belt you bought 3 years ago.
Insane.
But that insane is why he's so successful.
Oh, and he is. Like, he's in the exact same category that you're in.
Oh, he is. I know.
Industry.
And that's, if you're not going to go to insane, and if you're not going to go to person to back to person in person, I called it belly to belly. There's no B2C. There's human to human, and there's so now. A friend of mine, Gary Maxwell, and I, we do a speech now. It's called putting a human face in a digital space. So if you got, and you actually with technology now can put the human face in the digital space. So you can expand out to talk to more people in a way that you never have before, face to face in a digital space. It's quite amazing the new what's coming down the tubes. Like, the whole world has changed. We are in a shift age. Brick and mortar businesses don't exist no more.
Would you mind talking now? You do some pretty cutting edge stuff with technology. Would you mind just touching on, being in an older business that's been around since Henry Ford? Can you touch on how you even judge technologies that you want to get involved in? Like, when does it make sense for you to look at a technology and be like, okay, we're going to do this, or no, we're not going to do this?
You buy a new Apple computer every year, whether you need one or not, because the next one's just that much better than the one you have in your hands, right?
Get a new phone.
Okay? And if you're not prepared to take that step, you're not prepared to invest in your learning and invest in your self-development and invest in your technology, because if you're running 3- and 4-year-old computers, you already lost the battle, because if you bought a new one, it's out of date the minute you bought it. And it's just like in business, okay, when you talk about investing in new technology, everybody thinks everything's changing, and I'm saying here it is, but the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, it was really
right? It's so we're in a shift age. Like, we're in a shift age, and if we can understand what a shift age is, which I do understand.
Yeah.
And what's coming down the tubes, like, we're actually, and right here, Phil, right here with you, and you, right here, we are inventing tomorrow today, because we're not talking about, we're in 2017, we're not discussing 2017 today. We're discussing Jeff's got plans. What is the clothing industry going to look like in 2020? If you're not sitting here talking about what it's going to be in 2020, you're already at a date. And this is where you got to go with and you grab the technology that helps you advance. And there's so much out there. That's the thing. We're getting bombarded right now. I got a good speech here. This part
Dude, get it going, man. We're not here to get in the way of it. We're here to listen.
Right now here, these people are going to pay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting paid.
Talk to the camera if you need to.
I'm getting paid next Wednesday to Cabo and give this speech in Cabo, Mexico.
You're going to wait for free right here on the Freddy Beach podcast. We'll be quiet.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Say the year 0, okay? Like, this year 0 to year 2000. So your grandparents and their grandparents and grandparents for them only had to absorb. If you was born in the year 1900, you only, like 1901 and 1950 actually, you only had to absorb 2,000 years worth of information. Okay? And that was it. Like, so the guy in 2001 didn't have to know much more than the guy in 1801 or the guy in 1701. There was a shift age in the 17th century with the Industrial Revolution. Okay? So they're bang, like 5,000 years, like 500 years information was in the first 1,500 years. The next 500 years really was 1,500 years information, but there was a shift age. The next shift age came in 1960. Our computers, right? Now with PDFs, we're in a shift age again. So these shift ages are quickening up. today they estimate that you and everybody, 2,000 years worth of information we're absorbing every year. And your grandparents only had to absorb 2,000 years of information in their life. So we're being bombarded that fast. We're being bombarded every year with 2,000 years of information. And think your grandparents only had to absorb, they had their whole lifetime, and you're getting it every year, and every year it's new. Well, we're 200,000-year-old bodies. We're not wired for that. Yeah. So really, it's happening so fast around us that, and if we don't latch onto it, and it's the tail, we got to latch onto the tail of the dragon and ride it, and we got to learn to harness the dragon, and we can, shockingly, with technology. The same technology that's driving us is going to save us.
Yeah.
We
and businesses have to be part of it.
Well, we have like a serious, there's only so much information I can retain, right? Like that's the problem, is I'm going to get a certain amount of information and some of it's going to fall out to make place for new information. That's the real issue. And I think it's all about team building, like finding people that are experts in certain areas that can, say, well, this is what I'm going to own, I'm going to take control of this, and let's talk about your objectives and we can kind of make that work as a team. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, because I went to a doctor this morning. I got a little bit of skin cancer, and he got talking about it.
Jesus!
And he said,
find out this morning?
Well, and he said
he's taking responsibility for it though, so it's good.
It's just a little. I'm going to live. And he got explained. He said, "You want to know anything more about it?" I said, "Well, no. You're the doctor. I don't need to know about skin cancer. You already studied it. But if you want to know about cars, you call me, and if your roof's leaking, we'll call a roofer."
Yeah.
And that's what we got to learn to do. We got to learn, just like you said, we got to get a team together that knows their things, and that's how we got operative teams. Yeah. And now we got to have women leading them because we got to have empathy. The women are running the show.
Like, honestly, so I don't know. I had 3 sisters growing up. They're all way smarter than me. You know what I mean? I actually don't want to get too much into this topic because one time we kind of got in trouble for not having enough women on here. But
But Phil turned around.
Yeah,
Where are we gonna have Chelsea on? But women.
That would be really good.
But when I said it's in a good way, because what we've been doing for the thousands of years, we need fresh ideas, we need fresh blood. Like I'm 60 years old here sitting with you, and I'm thinking, I'm listening to all this stuff about millenniums. They're the best people we got coming the world's ever seen. We just got to work with them and give them, we just got to learn that, they want different things in life than we want it, than you might have wanted. And once we figure it out, like right now as a business, we have wheels and deals and a lot of business. We got like 3 and 4 generations working in the same business. Mm-hmm. We have to make it work because there ain't nowhere else there's nowhere else to go. We got to make it here. Mm-hmm. And we got to make it here together as one. And actually, shockingly, technology that drove us here is going to carry us through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I really think this is kind of cool. So, you're
and I'm a car dealer saying this. Think of it.
You're an older
the proof's
person
in the pudding.
talking to us as technology people about technology, and we haven't talked about any specific technology. All we've talked about is how people are, and that's what I really think technology does, is just makes life more natural. Like, the thing about emails, now I can stay in more contact. The thing about calls is we can talk anytime we want. FaceTime, now I can see how you actually feel. It's just going to get better and better and better.
And we have like an app at Wheels and Deals called BombBomb where it compresses videos now. So you can compress a video in the same much data as a word.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's a research company out of California now that says a 1-minute video is equal to 1.14 million words. Yes, a 1-minute video now, the research, like I have the names at work, it's 1-minute video is equal to 1.14 million words if you get the proper video.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing, that's how I'm saying back to belly with digital. We're actually interacting with our customers through this app called BombBomb that compresses that. If you send a video, it takes too much, I need to get this. Right? The BombBomb compresses it. Okay, it compresses it so it's like data.
Yeah.
And there's no spin to it. And somebody can press the button back and actually send you the video back, and customer after customer is saying, wow, so you want to know what's your email? We go to video, talk to you, and we, the cameras now do that for, selfie mode or that mode.
Yeah.
Because this will do both modes. So you phone the truck, you're back and forth with it. You send a video, that person can actually get back to it. nobody else did that. Like you're actually talking to the customer almost,
Naturally,
but almost like it's not live time, but it's real time, and they're just going, wow, this is great. So we actually now, without going and visit the customer, can take, like Jeff can take himself, think of this, to the customer with the new, and the app's a compression app, right? You compress this stuff. And you can actually talk face to face with the customer. And what's that customer doing when they have Jeff's video talking about dangerous shirts? After he looks at that video, or she looks at that video, what's the next thing she does? She shows all her friends. Yeah. And guess what? How much advertising did Jeff just get out of that little video?
Well, you've really mastered social media when it comes to cars.
You got my wheels turning, man. I like it.
It's like, people like underrate that. They're like, well, okay, I get it, it's cars. But no. We're talking about cars. Like, there's cars everywhere. And you guys able to stand out on Facebook? Impressive.
I didn't want to interrupt, but like to a comment you said a few comments ago, which was a very cool one. I do, because lots of people are like, man, I want to be an entrepreneur too, right? You get that when you have a business, right? People are like, man, I want to be an entrepreneur too, but I just don't have an idea. And I kind of tell people, like most entrepreneurs are not an inventor. I guess it's cool if you're both, but a great example is Jim Gilbert. I use Jim often. I'm like, Jim has a great driving car dealership, and Jim, actually didn't invent the car.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize, but that's what you know what I mean. But he picked an industry that he had a lot of interest in, right, and a lot of passion for, and then did it his own way, and that's what makes him a great entrepreneur. Yeah. So you see what I'm saying, right? 100%. And of course, you got to be a little unique and do it your own way. But some people, they see it, they're like, oh, well, I just have to invent a light bulb, then market the light bulb. Well, it's like you're trying to take that elephant in one bite. Like you need to break that thing down. You see what I'm saying, right?
Well, like the example is like, well, Steve Jobs invented the computer.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? They're like, well, Steve Jobs didn't invent the computer. There was computers. He made a personal computer with his roommate. And then ever since that point, millions of people have worked on making it better. Yeah. Like they have this idealized view about how you get into business that way.
Yeah. And I think, anyways, I often use you as a good example of that, right? Your Ric Flair video, amazing. People don't know, and I don't know if you've seen this, but it was like a 30-second video. They put it on Facebook after Ric Flair's book came out, or autobiography came out.
Well, a friend of mine knew Ric Flair, so that's why.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really funny. They had one of the guys dressed up as Ric Flair, and he's strutting to the car dealership, and he's talking trash and going woo, like Ric Flair did.
Can we touch on that real quick? How do you build your salespeople with their own brands? And that's kind of unique. Can you talk about just your thoughts behind that?
Well, everybody's an individual. It gets back to people, right? Everybody's an individual. So what you got to do now, actually, a business owner, like you said, Jeff, it's not about inventing a light bulb anymore. It's not even about inventing nothing. It's not even about selling the car. It's about finding something that you love, a passion, and decide that's going to be, and everything's a product, okay? Like your HubSpot or Hotspot. It's a product. It is. Like even a nurse that works at the hospital, it's a product. A teacher's a product. A teacher is actually selling time for money. So everything's a product, right? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. A priest is a product. He's selling religion. It doesn't matter. But what you got to do now is you can't think of the product. You got to have a successful product. Mm-hmm. You got to have a product people want, and then you got to build a team around the product that can make it bigger than what it is. So being an entrepreneur now, the product is just actually it's one of the smallest parts of it. Wheels and deals and selling cars is how we generate our income to pay everybody, so we can be involved in the community, and I can live a good life, and my people around me can live a good life. But it's just a car.
Right.
But you got to develop the people, the team. Good to great said Jim Collins. Good to great. you got the bus, you got to get a bus driver, then you got to get the people on the bus, and you got to get the people in the right seats. And once you got that, the bus moves down the road, and it doesn't matter what the bus is. And that's the secret. I don't think, so if you're there was a time before you could actually buy success with money. Those days were over because, we talked about just social media. Okay, Facebook has me. I'm a VIP person with Facebook. I have 2 calls a week, and I actually work with Facebook. I don't know anybody else but me that has a direct phone number to Facebook. I have a direct number and email to Facebook that will be answered in 1 minute, and I've actually found flaws in their system. 2 weeks ago, one of my people at work, Dave Sharp, we have an outside Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi that you put your email in to activate it, and then we get your email, and we can send you. We don't send any emails. We load it in Facebook and send you nice little Facebook ads, right? David Sharp in Little Fredericton, New Brunswick, which we all think don't know nothing, he actually found a glitch in their worldwide system that was $100 million system that could have been penetrated, that as soon as he found it, it had to be shut down worldwide. And they're sending us all brand new rotors because he found it. And 3 hours after he found it, I got an email as one of their subscribers saying an outside researcher found a glitch in our system that actually their whole system was open to the new iOS updates did it. And here's a guy at Wheels and Deals in a used car lot found that glitch in the system that worldwide had to be shut down.
That's wild.
It took 4 hours to figure it out. And this goes on and never before that could, like what's going on in Fredericton and a lot of other businesses, it couldn't have happened in a tiny little place like this years ago without the technology. But we can do it right here, sitting at 390 King Street, and we never could before. And that's where we got to go. Like Jeff, I spoke last night at Chamber of Commerce. Did you hear me talk about cars at all?
No.
Everybody else got up, talked about their product and what they did. Well, a lawyer got up there, talked about being a lawyer. We knew he was a lawyer.
We hate lawyers give speeches.
No, but what I'm saying is that's what they do.
Yeah.
But I got up there as a car dealer, so unless you fill out a banana tray, you know what a car is.
Right.
So why would I talk about a car?
Totally.
We talked about
it's about an idea.
suits and
totally,
girls
totally.
and women, so that's where
and a short guy should get up there and talk about cars. I get it.
And that's where I find it so exciting today, even a few years ago, and I think it's because we're such on the leading edge of stuff. We actually developed a website at Wheels and Deals. We have our own video server for our own video website, so that if you go onto our website, you get a video.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into spin because we're hosting our own. We actually have our own video servers.
You bought servers? And we even have it that there's no sound unless you click on it. So just like now on your Facebook, you see the video going. If you go on my website, it goes, and there's no sound till you touch it. That's hilarious. And smart.
And there's one more piece that we need. We got it working, but we know there's one more piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
The piece of the puzzle hasn't been invented yet. Our website is that far in front of anything else that we didn't even know we needed the last piece till I asked my website guy, who's a brilliant. I said, but it has to also do this. He said, well, there's nothing in the world that can make it do that, but it will eventually. So you just think in Fredericton, New Brunswick, we're the first ones that developed our own video website. So when you go on our website, a video starts playing, and it's just like, Facebook learned them 15-second little clips.
Yeah.
You can't pull your eyes away. So when you go on my website, you see all these nice little 15-second clips. You watch them for 3 or 4 15-second clips, then you go on by a car, you're smiling, you're happy, and where would you want to do business?
I love that, because it just shows how competitive your industry is. That you literally have to buy servers to get rid of the delay, to make sure that it's awesome. That's the right way to do business.
And you talk about competitive, our businesses, but there's no business that has this, our website. So it's nothing to do just with our business. It's to do with any business. But and I don't even
I think that's not, yeah, it's
I
more
don't- I
Jim's
don't
thinking
even,
on
yeah,
it.
I don't
Yeah,
even
it's
see it as
just-
competitive.
yeah.
I don't have competition in my mind.
You
It's
haven't
just
been
that
paying
I want to
attention, Phil.
advance my business. Like me and my friend Gary Maxwell, we're already involved in 2020. As far as we're concerned, 2019 was yesterday, and it's got nothing. The cars are just the vehicle to get the money to get to where you want to be. You know, we love selling cars. We got great people sell cars. We got a great product, and it pays the bills, and we look after people, and it's super. But this next step, do you know how much fun it is when Facebook's calling you and saying, hey, we need your help? Or Zenreach wants to know, here we got the CEO of Zenreach, would you go on a conference call with them? Or could I fly you to Cabo to tell people what I just told you
Would
about
you
this?
mind talking a little
That's
bit too
amazing,
about the speaking that you've been doing?
Well, I got to go back to a gentleman, Gary Maxwell, and he's a world-class speaker, and he was the one that actually got me involved in 2002. Like in 1998, I took responsibility for Jim Gilbert, and for 4 years, and I still now, like, that's when I changed, change your thoughts, change your world. Then in 2002, the universe sent me Gare, and Gare got us involved in the purple cow and being different and advancing your business, right? So me and Gare have been involved now. In 2006, I joined this tech, it's called Tech, and it's where business leaders come together for 1 day a month, and we have the best speakers in the world, and some of the top people in New Brunswick are in my group. Like, I sit with people with billion-dollar businesses, and you learn a lot from people with billion-dollar businesses.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so my friend Gare was going into the speaking business then, and I knew he was a good speaker, so then I got involved in the tech circuit, where he now is one of the speakers that goes all over the world. So me and Gare now, like, he speaks to everybody about some of the stuff I spoke to, but I'm the guy doing it, so I'm actually the guy he's talking about. So he goes all over the world, but then he comes back with new ideas to me and says, geez, I was just in India and you should see this. Well, then we go on to this video server. He come back with an idea that, hey, the website of the future is, you're going to look at a website, it's going to have video. Right? Gare's telling me that it's going to be video. It's got to be video. And I said, well, problem with video, it goes into spin because we have YouTube hosted, right?
Yeah.
So Gare's telling me that the new website of the future is going to be video. Right? So, and he's heard it, and he's hearing it from really smart people.
Yeah.
Okay? Then I put the piece together. Okay, so I find my web guys. Okay, how do we stop the spin? Right. Well, you got to have your own video server.
And that's not a cheap solution. That's like
but it's a solution.
No. But it's cool that you're invested.
So we go and we say, okay, and so then I'm the guy that actually, after I heard it from them about so Gare brought it from somewhere across the world about video websites. Yeah. He brings it to me. He said, this is how we got to go. But I say, hey, there's a glitch in this. I knew the glitch. But I'm the guy that cured it for somebody across the world. Okay, I found out, here's what we do next. The next step of the puzzle was figured out in Fredericton, New Brunswick by Jimmy Gilbert. But Jimmy Gilbert's not the guy that came up with the idea about the video on the website. Yeah. Somebody in another country did. My friend Gary Maxwell heard about it. He brings it back to me, and I solved their problem by creating this, and then that's why I know the second glitch, that there's a second glitch in this that we got to solve. But so far we got enough in place that you'll never know what the second glitch is. I did, because I know the second thing it needs to do. But so there's something, think he's in England. Actually, it was England when he got this idea from somebody. Yeah. Comes back to Canada. He says, here it is. And then I said, okay, here's the problem. But guess what? I know who might be able to fix it. And I call the guy. Well, there's only one fix so far.
Yeah. I gotta run to the washroom.
Yeah,
so we brought the fix to us. And we wouldn't have had all this without sharing ideas. So now we're sharing to people back in England, saying, hey, you got to get your own video server to make this work. That's awesome. We can help you.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and be selfish and bring it back to me for a second.
All right, Jeff. Let's go back to Jeff.
You're going to help me with my speech for the Dragon's Den viewing party, which you're coming to.
I will be here.
Are you going to bring some of the Wheels and Deals folks?
We're going to bring Wheels and Deals, folks. We're going to bring some bears. We're going to bring... I got a feeling it's going to be a good show.
Bring the whole thing. Actually, I got to tell you a story I think you're going to like.
I got tickets to Kid Rock in Laughlin, Nevada that I'm not going to go to, so I can go to Dragon.
Yes.
So my friends in Arizona, I got 2 tickets for Kid Rock for you.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'll tell you, the mayor was in this week. Stephen Horseman, the deputy premier, was in this week. They made sure to get their shirts just in time. So they'll have some dangerous dress shirts for the party. I think we're going to have a lot of leaders, you know, from...
Can I wear my...
Oh, heck yeah. You got to wear that, man. And actually, you were there when we were talking to Kelly Gilby, media representative.
Oh, last night.
Yeah, oh yeah. We were talking...
She's a sweetie.
We're talking last night, right? To all the folks out there. And I'm saying... You know, hey, should I put some money in a radio advertising for this party? Because like I have a bunch of radio advertising sort of in the bank, right? So I use some of it towards that, right? She goes, actually, and I didn't realize, actually, he'd sent me an email while we were, Doug, owner of the Ale House, had actually sent me an email on the same note earlier that day. I just hadn't got it yet, right? Or I hadn't checked yet. And I guess he went down to the radio station because he was thinking along the same lines. He was thinking maybe I should put some money to hyping this thing up on the radio. And he said when he got to the station, everyone was wearing dangerous dress shirts, right? All the sales reps have dangerous dress shirts. And they were talking about this party, and he was like, you guys all come to the party? He's like, yeah. He's like, you know, but I count 40 people in this radio station who are coming to this party. And he's like, you know what? Don't bother with the radio ads. Maybe it'll be too much. You know what I mean? And then, and I know he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. It's never too much.
Well, no, but...
I'm just saying, I had a radio ad representative saying, don't. When are they going to tell you to do it? Like, this party is already going to be so big.
I believe, too, it's going to fill the building.
Oh, yeah.
So... when you start spending money, now if you can get free advertisement, grab it.
Yeah.
But if you're spending money to advertise your advertising, that's really a waste of money.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's I believe that too, because you have, you know, somebody should be contacting everybody within reason here that bought a shirt and invite them to the party.
Oh, of course.
And then you tell them, say, hey, listen, not only you come, but bring a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, just that amount is going to fill.
And to bring a friend, because you're always looking for things to do.
Bring a friend.
Yeah, of course.
And I think keep it out on social media. And actually, like in the new world, listen, the radio and the mainstream media is really, really good. But they're going to be, and Cam, you're going to agree with this. If you're not going to run a campaign over a 2 or 3 month period, like if you think throwing 6 radio ads on and hey, listen, come see me, that's a waste of money. You actually can't spend just a little bit. You got to spend the proper amount to get the proper. It's called salience and repetition, right? You got to have salience. You got to have repetition. Salience is you got to have a good ad. Like you got to have a different ad.
It's got to be relevant.
Relevant. It got to be relevant. Salience, same word.
Yeah.
We're close to it. So it's got to have salience and repetition. Well, 6 ads has no repetition.
Right.
You can have all salience in the world, but if you don't have repetition, you're toast. Now, if you got a shitty ad and a lot of repetition, you're still toast. So you got to have both. So to invest money in a 7-day span or 10-day span to get more people in a packed building, to me,
totally. I'm not going to do it, but you know how awesome it is.
Buy everybody their beer.
Yeah.
All right, because Cody's got to go home.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
I can talk about myself all day.
Yeah,
Cody, look what you're learning. I got a good story here. I got lots of good stories. I got to go back to I'm 60 years old.
If you don't care, we can keep going.
So this is going to blow everybody's mind.
Good.
And I got an iPhone, and I'm pretty when it comes to technology, I'd put myself at an 8 out of 10. I can do stuff that I can make my own videos. Like I got Pro 10, I can do all that. I know how to do that. I can Photoshop, I do all that. I do the podcasts, I do
You just have a podcast?
Oh, I got a podcast. I do. I really. So when it comes to technology, I'm not as smart as the geniuses, but I'm the next level. Okay. Yeah. Right. People come to me with their iPhones. It's broken. What do I do, Jim? Okay. So, but an 8-year-old shows me a new feature on the new iOSs. So she shows me a new feature. An 8-year-old shows me a new feature it's on her iPad, but it works same as my iPhone.
Yeah.
So she's showing me Grampy, look what you can do. Like, so when you're texting, you get the balloons coming up, the confetti and all that. Have you seen all that stuff yet?
Yeah.
So she's showing that to me, where you hold it down. And I go to my work now. My work, Wheels and Deals, would be full of millennials. We're run. Like, there's 28 people at Wheels and Deals, 22 people are right there. That's what they are, like 20 to 33 or 35. This is it. Like, everybody else, like, really.
Yeah.
Okay? I, at 60, was showing them the new feature. They're all, like I got 28-year-olds saying, wow, I didn't know it could do that. So there's quite a story. An 8-year-old shows a 60-year-old that shows a 28-year-old. Think of that for a circle.
That's awesome.
That was pretty neat.
Cool.
So, technology's there for us all, and it is so neat. And just like I was shown, actually, I got a French gentleman that's French, and he was telling me the other day, he said, Jumpins, you got to, my iPhone is all, it's all English, like it doesn't have them concentras and all that, the 2 dots on the E's. He said, but why wouldn't they do that, Jim? Do I got to get a French phone? I said, no, you just hold the E down and all this stuff comes up. Like, he said, how did you know that? So, like it's pretty neat when
Totally.
I showed a French person how to get their, whatever them little things are. Yeah. I thought it was pretty neat. He thought it was very neat. So he sent me an email.
Awesome.
He sent me an email the other day. I see his name has the little, not the hat, the little line on it.
Yeah, accented good there.
Yeah, so it was.
Drop it.
So there, we can all learn. We can learn from 8-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and the 28-year-olds. So we're in it together.
Yeah, I think. Unless you tell me otherwise, Jim, we should end that as a final thought. I mean, that little story encapsulates your sort of constant learning philosophy, which you've explained to me many times, right? It's not my first time hearing it, right? But for the folks out there, so thank you guys very much for joining us. Season 2, Episode 5 with Jim Gilbert. If you want to find Jim Gilbert, look up Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals or Wheels and Deals on Facebook. Right, and then you get to the Facebook page, and that leads to the website and all the other social medias.
Cool. Thank you very much.